Have you ever stopped to think about the most incredible story you'll ever know? It's the story of how you began. Today, we're going to explore that incredible biological journey, the one that turns two tiny microscopic cells into, well, into us.
So really, how does that even happen? How does one single cell, smaller than a grain of sand, transform into a complex, thinking, feeling human being made up of literally trillions of cells? That's the amazing question we're going to unpack right now.
You know, the whole process really breaks down into 6 major stages. Think of this as our roadmap. First, you've got to make the cells. Then they have to meet. After that comes the fusion, the moment it all begins. From there, the new cell has to find a home, then develop for about 9 months, and finally, the grand arrival.
So our journey has to start with the building blocks. And first up, we're going to look at the male reproductive system. You can think of it as a super efficient factory designed for one thing: producing and delivering sperm.
The whole system really has 3 core parts. First, you have the testes. Those are the sperm factories themselves. Then you have a whole network of accessory ducts, which is basically the transportation system. And finally, you have the accessory glands. They're like the support crew, providing all the nutrients and fluids the sperm need for their journey. So let's actually trace that path. Sperm production starts deep inside the testes. From there, it's a pretty long and winding road through a whole series of tubes where they mature and get ready for their mission. It's kind of like a training ground. And only after all that are they finally ready to exit. It's an incredibly precise step-by-step pathway. All right, so that's one half of the equation. Now let's turn to the other half of the story, the female reproductive system. This is where the potential for new life isn't just created, it's also where it's nurtured, all the way from a single cell to birth.
And just like the male system, the female system has very distinct, specialized parts. You've got the ovaries, which produce the egg or ovum. Then you have the oviducts. You probably know them as fallopian tubes. These are super important because this is where fertilization usually happens. The uterus, or womb, is where the embryo settles in and develops. And finally, the cervix and vagina together form the birth canal. So once an egg is released from the ovary, it starts its own little journey. It gets swept into the fallopian tube and travels to a very specific, wider part of the tube. This spot right here is the crucial meeting point. It's the most common site for fertilization to happen. After that, it continues on its way toward the uterus. Okay, now we get to the main event. This is the moment where these two separate journeys finally come together. This is where a sperm and an egg meet, and the unique genetic blueprint for a brand new person is created.
And this is where you see a really fascinating difference in biological strategy. On one side, sperm production kicks in at puberty and it's a continuous numbers game, making millions upon millions of sperm. But on the other side, egg production is all about quality over quantity. It actually starts before a female is even born, and each cycle results in just one large, nutrient-packed egg all ready to provide for a potential embryo.
So, fertilization. What is it exactly? Well, it's that precise moment of fusion. A sperm cell, carrying half of the genetic code, merges with an egg cell, which is carrying the other half. When they combine, they create a single cell with a complete set of instructions. That cell is called a zygote. This is, quite literally, cell number 1 of a new life. Let's zoom in on that moment. When a sperm finally reaches the egg, it uses special enzymes in its tip to break through the egg's outer layers. The instant one sperm gets inside, the egg puts up a sort of force field, instantly blocking all the other sperm from getting in. It's a total winner-take-all situation. Then the genetic material from both cells fuses together, and the incredible journey of development officially begins.
All right, so with fertilization complete, we enter the period of gestation. This is the absolutely mind-blowing 9-month transformation from that single cell into a fully formed baby. That first cell wastes absolutely no time. As it travels toward the uterus, it starts this perfectly choreographed dance of division. One cell becomes 2, then 4, then 8, and so on, until it's a tiny ball of cells. This little ball then hollows out and gets ready to find its home, embedding itself right into the wall of the uterus. That's called implantation, and that's the moment that pregnancy officially begins. The pace of development from this point on is just staggering. I mean, think about this. By the end of just the first 12 weeks, the blueprint is mostly complete. All the major organ systems are already formed. By the 5th month, you can see movement, limbs, even hair. By week 24, tiny details like eyelids separating and eyelashes forming are already in place. It's just an unbelievable 9-month sprint from a single cell to a fully formed human.
So all of this incredible development is building up to the final stage of our journey, the arrival. This is the process of birth and those first few critical moments of life outside the womb.
You know, birth isn't random. It's this beautifully orchestrated hormonal cascade. It actually starts with a signal from the fully developed baby. That signal tells the mother's brain to release a hormone called oxytocin. And oxytocin causes the uterus to contract. But here's the really amazing part. That contraction sends a signal back to the brain to release even more oxytocin. This creates a stronger contraction, which signals for even more oxytocin. It's this powerful, self-reinforcing loop that just builds and builds until the moment of birth. And the support system doesn't just stop at birth. That very first milk that's produced, called colostrum, is unbelievably important. People call it liquid gold for a reason. It is packed with antibodies that give the newborn something called passive immunity. It's basically a starter kit for their immune system, helping them fight off germs in their brand new world.
So we've gone from 2 microscopic cells all the way to a fully formed human made of trillions of cells. It's this incredibly intricate, precise process that connects every single one of us. It really makes you wonder, if this is the complex and beautiful journey that every single life takes just to begin, what does that say about the amazing potential contained within each and every one of us?